If you're tired of scrambling to create content at the last minute, or even worse, skipping out on posting altogether, then this video is for you. Today, I'm going to show you how to use Notion to create a foolproof system that's going to help you finally get consistent with your content. Chances are, if you've been feeling a bit inconsistent with your content and having FOMO because you see your competitors be able to consistently post, it's because you haven't taken the time to set up a content system or taken a time to set up a content system that works for you. Without a system in place, it is easy to get overwhelmed, miss deadlines, and feel like you're always behind. Here's the good news. Setting up a content system like the one we're going to talk about today is going to help you stay consistent without the stress. First things first, let's talk about what a content system is. System sounds like a scary word, but really it's just a repeatable step-by-step process that you use to save you time in your business. And this is truly the secret to scaling and getting more things done. My Notion content system organizes everything about your content, from who is responsible to what needs to get created to when it will happen and how it will get done, all in one place. So you're going to know exactly what to do, when to do it, and how to get it done every time. This means no more guessing where you were in the content creation or scrambling to find that piece of content that you were working on. Let me show you how to create a content system in Notion. We're going to break it down using the 5 key elements of any system: the who, the what, the why, the when, and the. By the end of this video, you'll have everything you need to stay organized and consistent in your content. First things first, let's talk about the why of your content. It is so important to give every piece of content that you create a job so that you're not just creating content for the sake of creating content. Whenever I start out creating any content, I answer 2 questions. What is the promise to the consumer? What will they gain or learn from consuming this piece of content? And number 2, how does this piece of content tie into the bigger picture or bigger goals of my business and brand? Am I trying to build awareness? Am I trying to nurture my audience? Am I trying to convert potential leads? Understanding these questions and the why behind your content helps you stay intentional and strategic. For example, for this video, my goal is to educate my audience on creating a content system, and how it ties into my bigger goal is that I hope by the end of this video, they'll trust me, they'll love my content system, and they'll want to go purchase my Notion content system versus just setting one up for themselves. I like to think of my content in 2 different categories: billboards and bridges. The billboards are pieces of my smaller form content, things that are more ephemeral, like Instagram posts, YouTube shorts, TikTok videos. These really help to draw in new leads and create awareness for my business. The content that you're watching right now is part of my bridges content. This content helps to build that like, know, and trust factor, build authority, and helps me nurture potential leads into clients. The second key piece of any content system is determining the who. Who is responsible for each piece of your content process? Now, if you're a solopreneur right now, it might just be you. But if you have a team, you'll need to assign roles eventually. Or if you want to delegate eventually, you'll need to have a space to delegate pieces of the content creation process. For example, for my YouTube videos and my podcast videos, I'm responsible for strategizing, coming up with the keywords, the concepts, and of course, recording them. And then I pass it off to my editor, who is responsible for editing and creating the video. They pass it back to me so that I can approve it. And then I pass it back to them when it's ready to be scheduled. So you can see here, I'll pull up my Notion content system. I like to automate this process in Notion. So for example, when a task changes, you can see I'm setting up this automation here by status. When a status changes from ready to shoot to ready to edit, we'll set it up right here. So you can see here, when this video status changes to ready to review, it'll replace who's responsible with me. The next thing you'll want to determine is the what. Both what type of content you're going to create and what platforms you're posted on, and keeping track of what you're going to say. Are you focusing on Instagram, YouTube, a blog, or all 3? Each platform requires a different approach. In Notion, for example, I have each of my different content organized in a separate database. You can also use different selection properties to determine what platform you're going to be posting on. In addition to that, I like to keep track of ideas for what I'm going to say in my idea bank. So you can see here, I've got a whole bunch of ideas that I've just dropped in here as I think of them. I have a widget for my content ideas quick capture on my phone so that I can easily drop new content ideas into my Notion system whenever I'm kind of like walking about, if you're like anything like me, ideas come up for you all the time. I can drop these ideas in here. They get captured. And then when I'm planning out my content, I can really easily see all of them and even drag and drop them down into one of my content calendars if I wanted to. Now comes the win. You need to break down both creation and publishing timelines for each piece of content. Notion's calendar view makes this easy by letting you visually map out when your content needs to be both written and created or when it needs to be published. For example, in this video, you can see that I plan to record this video on the 27th here on my creation calendar, but I will not be publishing it till September the 10th. That way I am always ahead of schedule and I never run out of content. All right. The final piece of your system is not only the steps that you're going to take, but the tools that you're going to use. Notion is my central hub, but I also use tools like TubeBuddy to research keywords, Canva for making and designing thumbnails, and a script for editing and recording videos. Having links to all of these inside of my content system helps me stay organized. I also can link my video files and thumbnails directly into Notion. That way, when I'm ready to schedule and post, everything is in one spot. I use Notion Social to schedule all of my original content directly from Notion. This saves me so much time, effort, and money by not having to use a separate tool like Buffer or Later to schedule my post. I'm able to do everything directly from Notion by just changing this to the scheduled status in a system called Notion Social. I made a whole entire video. I'll link it up here. Goes ahead and schedules that post so that I'm not having to download and re-upload and everything can happen all in one place. By taking the time to set up your content creation system in Notion and determining the who, the what, the how, the when, and the why beforehand, you'll say goodbye to scrambling at the last minute and inconsistent content creation. If you are ready to take control of your content creation and finally get consistent, then you can grab my social media content system below in the description. Also, make sure to subscribe and join my email newsletter list for more tips on how to create systems in your business like this that'll help streamline and save you time.